food factories. Okay, so it doesn't apply to catering. That's why a lot of manufacturing companies, especially kena makanan dan sebagainya, they have some kind of a food safety assurance program lah. And the food safety assurance program can be MISTI. You may see this logo. You may have baca perkataan tu MISTI. Ataupun GMP. GMP maksud dia Good Manufacturing Practice. HACCP. HACCP maksud dia Hazard Analysis Critical Control Point. Ataupun a more global standard, kita katakan ISO 22000. Dan yang paling tinggi yang ada sekarang adalah FSSC 22000. So these are some of the examples of a food safety assurance program. Di mana yang paling rendah, the simplest is the MISTI program. Let's look at the next slide. So these are examples of scenarios kalau you tak ada food safety assurance program. This happens kalau the organisation, whether it's a franchise company, whether it's a central kitchen, whether it's a hotel, whether it is catering site, whether it is a factory kan. I want to share with you some of the examples. These are real examples, real cases yang telah berlaku kerana mereka tak ada satu food safety assurance program ataupun tak ada food safety assurance program yang baik yang telah dilaksanakan, implemented. So in the case of this Penang case, Pizza Hut, the problem with this scenario case is that dalam pizza tu, in the pizza, they found some pieces of glasses yang termasuk dalam pizza tu. So when the two girls ate the pizza, there was injury to the mouth. The mouth started bleeding, and then because of the bleeding case, it became a hospital case. Because of a hospital case, they had to go to the hospital, get admitted, and so on and so forth, dapatkan medical treatment. But it didn't stop there. They were very unhappy and they made an official complaint and saman Pizza Hut kan. So bila court case tu berlaku, the court found evidence that memang manasabah, very applicable. So the court fined Pizza Hut 55,000 ringgit. So it's a just because of a few pieces of glasses, Pizza Hut was kena denda lah, fine for 55,000 ringgit. Okay, next slide. The next scenario is in a hotel. In a hotel. This is a hotel in Singapore. You may think that Singapore has a very nice system kan, tetapi Singapore kan ada masalah dia. So this is a hotel, and they were producing what do you call it, bakery products lah, durian puff, very popular even today in Malaysia pun popular. We have mooncakes, durian, and all kinds of durian pastries kan. Tapi this one is a durian pastry yang mengandungi durian raw, durian yang fresh so many cases berlaku kerana if you have studied this case, one of the key reason for this durian issue, this durian food poisoning, is because the source of the durian was not safe daripada supplier. This is a supply issue. So because of that, 76 cases of food poisoning happened 76 cases, a lot and as a result kan, dia punya bakery license was suspended lah. Okay, the next scenario kita lihat, the next slide. This case, I think viral punya case kan. So another case, kalau tak ada food safety assurance program, the scenario is that premise tu mungkin ditutup ataupun closure of the premise because as you can see, there's a huge rat in this glass display kan, yang menunjukkan showing that the rat is having a nice time, having a feasting on the chicken, fried chicken. This rat must be a fan of fried chicken. So the problem is that, food safety assurance program, one important aspect of food safety assurance program is you must have a good pest contractor. You must have a pest control program implemented in your premise. Kalau tak ada, this is the problem lah. Ataupun kalau ada pun tak dilaksanakan, not implemented properly, then you have a big problem like this one. Ada kehadiran pest macam tikus dan sebagainya. Kadang-kadang bukan saja tikus tetapi lalat, kehadiran lalat ataupun lipas, cockroaches. Next slide. And this is a case of, restaurant food. Sometimes kita pergi ke food court, kita makan kan. This is another scenario, salmonella. Salmonella kemungkinan besar melibatkan telur dia, telur ayam dia. So, telur salmonella ni biasanya terdapat dalam telur ataupun ayam lah, ayam yang telah dicemarkan, contaminated. So we find that, when we talk about food safety assurance program, it can be applied in different scenarios. In this scenario, it is probably a hawker food dalam food court. So I've shared with you a few examples kan. What is the effect kan? Apakah yang mungkin berlaku if there is no food safety assurance program in the context of a food court, in the context of a hotel, in the context of franchise yang brand macam Pizza Hut. Last one kita lihat dalam konteks next slide please. This one is Kelang Makanan. This is a very famous brand, Prego, carbonara, mushroom yang kita gunakan untuk masak, to prepare pasta kan. Recently, it was a big issue. Kementerian Kesihatan has to order a recall. So kalau makanan dalam factory yang dihasilkan oleh factory, kalau ada masalah, then it will be a recall. Kita panggil recall. Ataupun dalam bahasa kita panggil penarikan balik. So this will involve a loss of money. A lot of money is lost because of this. Dia tak fresh, dan ada masalah lain. So this is a problem. So in this, kalau you tanya saya, is there a food safety assurance program in this place? Yes, probably yes. But the problem is that the food safety assurance program was not implemented properly. The food safety assurance program was not monitored properly. So food safety program pun walaupun ada kadang-kadang pun ada masalah. Ada masalah kerana there's no proper monitoring, no proper implementation. So can you imagine kalau tempat tu tak ada langsung food safety assurance program, what bigger issue can come out of it? Bigger problems kan. Okay, next slide. So that's why we are talking about food safety assurance program. So now kita nak discuss sedikit lah. What are some of the benefits? What are some of the benefits of a food safety assurance program? Number one is to prevent unsafe food from reaching our guests and customer complaints. Yeah, this is very important because if you are a food manufacturer, you must make sure that whatever food and drinks that you prepare and serve to your guests, whether it's in a food court, whether it's in the context of a factory, whether it's in a franchise brand or in a hotel, a 5-star hotel or 3-star hotel, doesn't matter. The food that you serve, the drink that you serve must be safe. For example, ice cubes kan. Kadang-kadang you think that ice cubes are not important, but ice cubes is a ready-to-eat food. How safe is the ice cube when they are serving to the customers? Because how safe is the ice cube will depend on how the food is handled, how the food is stored. Macam mana penyimpanan ice cube itu dalam container dia, bersih tak bersih, that kind of thing. So very important, food that is served must be safe, should be safe, but because all our customers deserve food that is safe. We cannot be having food poisoning after having our meals, whether it's a food or a drink. The second reason is to provide sound basis that all reasonable steps have been taken to prevent food poisoning. What do I mean by this? Sound basis. This is more of a legal aspect. So for example, a guest makan eat something at a food court or from a hotel, pergi ke buffet, macam Ramadan punya buffet kan. After eating the Ramadan buffet, then after a few hours, he's down with food poisoning. Ada diarrhea, ada vomiting dan sebagainya. So, so he wants to summon the hotel or wants to take legal action against the hotel. So, kalau you tak ada food safety assurance program, you tak ada sound basis. You tak ada sound basis untuk menunjukkan ataupun to explain to the guest that you have taken all reasonable steps. Langkah-langkah yang diperlukan to prevent food poisoning because you don't have a system. But if you have a system, that means you are taking temperatures, your staff are trained in food safety, your staff are vaccinated against typhoid fever, all those things. Dah ada buat temperature control, ada checking of temperature of chiller dan freezer dan sebagainya. All these actions will provide a sound basis that you have taken all reasonable steps to make sure that there is no food poisoning. So, in short, the system, the food safety assurance system, will help you to defend, you kalau ada orang yang nak saman you ataupun take legal action towards you. So this is really, really important. This is actually one of the key reasons why people are implementing a food safety assurance program to provide sound basis, to give evidence, to share evidence so that they have some kind of system that can ensure food safety lah in their premise. Tak kira premise apa lah. For example, let me tell you, I don't mind sharing with you, macam dekat KLCC. If you go to KLCC, do you know that KLCC, all the food premises there, they have a food safety assurance program. You may be surprised, because it is required by Petronas. Any company that has dealing with Petronas, they must have a food safety assurance program. Whether Petronas dekat KLCC ke, dekat mana ke, dekat Pengerang ke, they must have a food safety assurance program. And the minimum that they allow is HACCP Codex lah. So because Petronas being a global player, they know that HACCP, a food safety assurance program, is very important to ensure that the food that is served to the guests, to the customers, to their in-house being a guest, in-house customers, is really safe. So point number 2 is very important. Now, point number 3 allows businesses to meet local food safety legal requirements. This is important. I can show you here. This is the Food Act. You can see the Food Act here. Inilah legal requirement yang kita mesti comply. Food Act, food regulations, dan food hygiene regulations. You can buy this a copy from a reputable publisher. So dalam akta ini ada banyak keperluan. A lot of standard yang you kena ikut. For example, kalau lah you are preparing particular food, the standard for the food, apakah jenis color yang boleh kita gunakan, pewarna yang boleh digunakan, dibenarkan, that kind of thing. All is mentioned in the standard. Apakah legal requirement yang perlu kita comply with regards to food hygiene regulations. Contohnya, mesti adakan suntikan typhoid untuk setiap 3 tahun, for example dia. Mesti menghadiri kursus pengali makanan. These are all legal requirements. It's stated in the food hygiene regulations. So there are many aspects of the legal requirements yang you mesti ikut kalau you are a food manufacturer especially. You must comply. Kalau tidak kan, you tak akan dapat the food safety assurance program punya certificate. Tak akan dapat. When Syrian comes to audit you ataupun Lloyds comes to audit you, they will be looking into these requirements and to ensure that you comply with these requirements. Because this is the Malaysian law. This is the Malaysian legal law. Because Malaysian legal law telah ditubuhkan ataupun telah disediakan. Why? Why do we have all these food safety legal requirements? Very simple. Because Malaysian government wants to make sure that whatever food yang kita prepare, whatever food that kita sell to the public, must be safe. Very simple. Must be safe. Whether it's a drink, whether it is a food, whatever thing that you prepare, the final product, the food and drink must be safe. Full stop. Kalau tidak kan, you cannot sell the food. Very simple. Whether you're involved in manufacturing, whether you're involved in packing, repacking, whether you're involved in, preparing food a la carte, whether you're a central kitchen preparing and distributing to all your outlets, franchise your brand, you must make sure that the food that you prepare comply with the Food Act, food regulations dengan food hygiene regulations. This is mandatory by law. Kalau tak comply memang susah lah, it can be an issue lah. Okay, that's the third point. The fourth point is to prevent fine, lawsuits ataupun closure. This one kita dah discuss tadi kan, berkenaan dengan Pizza Hut tu kan. You see Pizza Hut, because of a few pieces of glasses, telah mengakibatkan injury to the mouth and all that, people summon you. So nowadays, because of social media and all that, people are very, very aware. Kesedaran tu tinggi. The awareness is very high. So people, any issue, okay, they will take the picture and they will viral it. So your brand will be affected. The brand will be affected, kan? Recently, there was a brand that was producing coffee, kan? Yeah. The sausages they were preparing were moldy. People take photos and they just viral it. So the brand will be affected. So not only will there be lawsuits and fines, but the branding will be affected. And how do you recover from a brand? Brand punya issue. Very difficult. The perception is there, kan? Another brand that was affected many, many years ago was the Cadbury brand. I remember that last time when I was still in the hotel, kan? Chocolates produced by Cadbury contaminated dengan salmonella. But they recovered. They're a very strong company, but they recovered from this contamination issue and the recall issue. But some brand, I tell you, you go and Google, some brand, because of a food poisoning issue, never recovered from the lawsuit and from the recall issue, because it was a big issue, it was a global issue. So number one, the fourth reason is kita nak make sure tak ada fine, tak ada lawsuit, tak ada orang yang akan saman you because of food safety issue. Ataupun closure. Closure. Tadi kan yang nampak kan yang red issue tu kan, because it was viral, Kementerian Kesihatan got involved and tutup premise itu. So you don't want your place to be shut down by the Ministry of Health ataupun DBKL ataupun pihak berkuasa tempatan kerana ada masalah food safety, kerana terdapat banyak urungan lalat lah, tikus dan sebagainya. You don't want that. You don't want that because it will affect your brand and it will affect your income. Can you imagine, for example, you are preparing food, kan? Let's say you are a dim sum supplier, you are selling dim sum every day, and then suddenly kan ada masalah dengan food safety, and then Kementerian Kesihatan datang, close your shop for 2 weeks. Do you imagine the loss of income of 2 weeks? Do you imagine the loss of income because of closure for 2 weeks? Lalunya, closure is for 2 weeks. So this is all about money. All about money. And you don't want that to happen, correct or not? Every day it is income to you. You can be losing 10,000, 50,000, that kind of thing. And every day of closure means every day loss of income. Okay? So that is the fourth reason. Yeah. The fifth reason, reduces chances of expensive product recall, affecting business reputation. Yes. Tadi tu kan yang Prego tu kan, kena buat recall. So, semua customer yang telah beli daripada Prego punya supplier kena buat recall. So, can you imagine the amount of money that is lost by Prego because of this recall? It is not thousands, sometimes it goes into the millions because of one problem. May not be a food poisoning problem pun. Mungkin moldy problem. Mungkin, ada benda dalam makanan dan sebagainya. Have to do a recall. So the bigger the item, the bigger the clientele. Macam Prego is a big brand. They are supplying to a lot of places, a lot of countries. So can you imagine the amount of money they will lose because of the recall? And not just that, as I mentioned earlier, it is the business, it is your brand, your reputation. Walaupun you make a small mistake kan, persepsi manusia ni kan is very bad. Once they associate Prego with some issue kan, the next time they want to go to the supermarket and buy the brand, they will think twice about buying Prego punya brand. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. It is a perception issue. It's a perception issue and will affect their business. It will surely affect their business. And they will lose thousands or millions of dollars because the brand was affected. Okay? So these are five key reasons why we should be thinking about implementing a food safety assurance program, so that to make sure the food is safe, sound basis, you're able to meet the local legal requirements, no lawsuits, dan juga tidak ada product recall. Let's move on to the next slide. What are some of the food safety assurance program yang available in Malaysia? The first one is MISTI. There's MISTI, you can see a big signboard there, MISTI. Okay, makanan sihat, tanggungjawab industri. Itu dah masuk dia. Makanan sihat, tanggungjawab industri. That is the simplest punya sistem yang ada. Dia adalah kurang daripada GMP. Sistem dia lebih simple to comply. Tapi the standard is lower than GMP. GMP is good manufacturing practice ataupun good hygiene practice. Dia punya standard tu lebih tinggi sikit daripada MISTI. Sometimes kan you beli produk-produk makanan kan macam tofu dan sebagainya kan you nampak logo MISTI kan. So dia comply dengan MISTI. MISTI ni dikeluarkan oleh Kementerian Kesihatan. No problem. It's free of charge. Given by Ministry of Health apabila you comply dengan dia punya keperluan dia. So selepas MISTI kita ada GMP tinggi sikit. Selepas GMP kita ada HACCP. HACCP, inilah logo HACCP yang akan diberi oleh Kementerian Kesihatan apabila you comply dengan dia punya standard. And then we have ISO 22000. Kalau kita sebutkan ISO, International Organization of Standard, ini adalah merupakan standard global. It's a global standard. Bermakna, kalaulah you comply dengan ISO 22000, you are complying with a global brand. A global standard. A global standard. ISO is a global standard. So, that means when you export your food kan, and then you have ISO 22000, bermakna your food premise, your food is prepared in a premise that is certified for ISO 22000. That means your premise is complying with the global standard. So, quite a big thing lah. Tapi yang paling tinggi yang ada sekarang adalah FSSC 22000. This one is no joke lah, this one. It's a bit difficult to comply with FSSC 22000. Pasal dia punya requirements is very stringent. And one of the key ingredient keperluan dalam FSSC 22000 is dalam masa 3 tahun ni audit tu kan, there's one audit yang kita panggilkan sebagai unannounced audit. Unannounced. That means they won't tell you when they are coming. They will just come and audit you. That is FSSC 22000. So these are some of the examples. You have other examples, for example, like HACCP Codex, GMP Codex, HACCP Codex, tapi not accredited lah. Not accredited in that sense, tak di-accredited oleh Department of Safety Standard, Department of Standards Malaysia. But it is accepted by Kementerian Kesihatan as a food safety assurance program. Food safety assurance program. Okay, next slide. So let's have a look. Apa yang dimasukkan dengan GMP ataupun prerequisite program? The first thing, this is the, kalau nampak triangle tu kan, so you nampak prerequisite program tu adalah asas. Asas before you nak implement HACCP dengan ISO 22000. So prerequisite program merupakan basic programs, basic food safety punya programs yang you must implement before you can talk about implementing HACCP. Basic programs. For example, management commitment, personal hygiene, train staff, preventive maintenance and calibration, approved suppliers. Suppliers that supply food to you must be approved by you. That means ada buat screening dan sebagainya. Effective cleaning and sanitation program. That means your cleaning tu mesti okey lah. Ada satu program lah. Bukan ikut done je. Tapi mesti ada cleaning and sanitation program. And then ada stock rotation, ada labeling, ada traceability dan ada recall procedure. So that means there is kalau kita katakan traceability bermakna kita boleh trace back lah kita punya makanan tu daripada siapa, bila dan apa production date dia dan dia punya expiry date. And then there must be a pest management program in-house. Kalau tidak ada masalah macam tadi je lah. Tikus sedang makan dia punya fried chicken, that kind of thing. Lipas, lalat. So pest management program is important. So that's why kan you need to have a pest contractor. Pest contractor yang bagus, yang reliable, yang akan implement satu program untuk you to handle the different kinds of pests. And then we have waste management. Macam mana you handle waste? Waste ni kita katakan dua jenis, liquid waste ataupun solid waste. Tong sampah, apakah jenis tong sampah yang digunakan. And then premise dengan equipment. Apakah design premise you? Macam mana dengan premise you? Kalau you are manufacturing, macam kilang makanan, the design of the factory must be okay. Tidak akan menggalakkan pencemaran. Tidak akan menggalakkan cross-contamination. Dan segi equipment. Apakah equipment, jenis equipment you beli? Okey tak okey? Equipment tu janganlah pula akan mencemarkan makanan yang you buat tu kan. So the equipment must be of suitable and not toxic. The standard gunakan tak boleh toxic. Then ada proper maintenance. And then we go to customer complaint. Customer complaint. Customer complaint. Customer complaint, kita nak monitor customer complaint. Macam mana customer complaint? Is there customer complaint or not? Tapi customer complaint ni, tak ada kena-mengena dengan, whether too much salt ke, too much oil ke, that kind of thing. Yeah. Okay. Customer complaint ni more towards food safety. More towards food safety. That means, for example, customer complaint yang ada kaitan dengan food poisoning. Customer complaint kerana ada benda-benda asing dalam makanan, that kind of thing. Yeah. And then water quality. Water quality is very important. Because water ni kita guna untuk semua benda kan. So water tu mesti ada testing to make sure that the water quality is okay, good, that kind of thing. Because water kita guna for washing our hands, water kita guna, some places guna untuk buat ice cube, water kita guna untuk bersihkan makanan mentah kita, raw material kita, all those things. So yeah, water quality is really important. And lastly, transportation. Transportation of your suppliers macam mana? Okay tak okay? Temperature okay tak okay? Kebersihan dia, semua tu. Ataupun transportation from your factory to your customers. There are two aspects of transportation dia. Kadang-kadang transportation ni for export. I've been to factories kan, buat audit untuk factory yang melibatkan export. So we have to check dia punya documents in relation to transportation, because they are transporting the food in refrigerated containers, refrigerated containers, container chill container ataupun frozen container, frozen freezer containers, to make sure that the temperature is okay, sehingga sampai ke tempat pelabuhan. So, the temperature control macam mana dan sebagainya. All this is under transportation. So, when we talk about prerequisite program, these are program-program yang asas ini mesti ada. Kan? Tak ada kan? Tak ada benda-benda ni bermakna kan your food is being prepared in an environment that is not safe. Tidak akan menyakitkan, tidak akan menyediakan makanan yang selamat. So, your prerequisite program is really important. Then we move on to the next slide. Move on to the next slide. Once you dah adakan prerequisite program, GMP, GHP, semua tu, once you dah adakan semua program-program ni, program asas ini, then we got to talk about HACCP. HACCP. Okay. Once we have all these GMP programs, then we have to go on into HACCP principles. HACCP principle, the first principle adalah conduct hazard analysis. The next slide, HACCP principles. Yeah, so these are the 7 principles yang you mesti establish. Not yet summary. So 7 principles. This is HACCP. These are the 7 principles. So if you are just going for GMP, you just have to comply with the GMP requirements. Tapi kalau you are trying to comply with HACCP, then you have to comply with both GMP dengan HACCP punya requirements. Itulah dia punya standard. So, you can identify hazard you. Hazard tu adalah micro hazard, chemical hazard ataupun physical hazard yang mungkin terdapat dalam makanan you. Lepas tu macam mana you control dia. Macam mana you set the critical limit. Macam mana you monitor you punya hazard. Dan macam mana you punya corrective actions. Dan macam mana you buat verification dan documentation, records dan sebagainya. So these are the 7 principles yang you mesti establish in your HACCP manual sebelum kita boleh be ready for certification by an external party. So I just want to mention here, untuk mendapatkan certification for your food safety system, it must be done by an external party. External party maksud saya di sini adalah, for example, dia SIRIM, SIRIM QAS International, Lloyd's Register, Quality Assurance, PSI dan sebagainya. So these are the few companies yang telah diberi akreditasi oleh Department of Standard Malaysia untuk menjalankan certification. Okay, so these are the requirements under what they call it, under HACCP, GMP dengan HACCP principles. So you need to comply with this to give you an understanding. Okay, let's move on. So lastly as a summary kan, kalaulah you tak ada food safety assurance program, inilah akibat dia. These are the potential issues yang mungkin akan berlaku. Nombor 1, you may have to face legal issues. Summons, lawsuits and that kind of thing. Kalau ada masalah dalam segi implementation dengan monitoring. Yes, so you may face lawsuits and all that. And it can be very expensive. It can be very, very expensive. I remember many years ago, there was a case kan, ini adalah hospital private hospital kan. Dia masuk ward, dia sakit, lepas tu semasa dia terima makanan tu kan salad kan, salad daripada hospital punya kitchen kan. Ada cockroach dalam salad tu. Can you imagine? Cockroach, a small baby cockroach. Our friend was so angry, he summoned the private hospital. I don't want to mention which hospital and he won the case. Yeah, I think 70 ke 80,000 he won the case. Another important thing about tak adanya food safety assurance program adalah kemungkinan kematian, death. Why? Because food poisoning can cause death. Some of you may not know that. Tapi food poisoning is very serious. It can cause death. Food allergy pun boleh cause death. So, kalau ada kematian because of your food, it's a very serious case. Very serious case. Because there have been cases of death because of kematian. I remember Tanjung Dawai, Kedah, Kenduri, 4 orang mati. 4 orang mati. Dewasa pula tu. Mati kerana makan makanan kenduri, mati ayam masak merah. I remember ayam masak merah. Kematian. Very sad case lah. So death, kematian. And then nombor 3, premise closure. Kerana terdapatnya isu-isunya, dia akan tutup kedai you. Mengapa dia tutup kedai you? Dia nak bagi you masa untuk menjalankan kerja-kerja pembersihan, kerja-kerja renovation, kerja-kerja menghapuskan serangga dan sebagainya. So dia akan tutup premise you. Dia force you to close for 2 weeks. Tapi loss of income lah, dan the financial loss lah. Dan nombor 4, product recall. Kalau factory, it will lead to product recall. No choice. Kalau terdapatnya culture atau terdapatnya benda-benda yang asing yang boleh menyebabkan kecederaan, then there will be a product recall. Ataupun terdapatnya salmonella dalam makanan, ataupun terdapatnya E. coli dalam makanan. You have to do a product recall. It can be a raw material, it can be a ready-to-eat material. It does not matter. Lastly, financial loss. Financial loss, really. If you don't have a food safety system, lastly, the financial implication is very high. Very, very high. The bigger the brand, the bigger is the financial loss. Kalau tak ada. That's why the big brands yang ada dalam Malaysia ni kebanyakan tu ada food safety assurance program. Biasanya ada. Kalau tak ada tu memang not a very wise thing lah. So in summary, these are the 5 key reasons why you should have some kind of a food safety assurance program. So it's better for you to invest in some kind of money, invest in having a system. Tetapi to invest in a system, you must have 2 components. Number 1, you should get a good consultant. That's number 1. And number 2, kemungkinan melibatkan duit, you need to allocate a certain amount of money for your hardware, your premise upgrade and that kind of thing. So these are 2 components that are important kalau you nak adakan satu food safety assurance program. Okay, I think I've covered